Hey yo, what's up everybody? It's yours truly, Mr. Lang, Team Wash Life. How's everybody doing today? Hey man, I just wanted to cover some basics in this video. I had some free time today and I was actually on the phone with a few people from who follow the YouTube channel and happen to have just random questions, kind of emergency questions, yada yada yada. So I want to kind of cover the bases on some of them. One of the questions was a oxidation issue or maybe weep holes issue. He called, was kind of, I could hear the worry in his voice. He was concerned because he felt he really screwed up this lady's house. He had the pump up sprayer and the garden hose doing soft washing like the really basic way when you really have no money to start up, which if you do that, thumbs up to you because you're making it happen, right? Anyway, he said he had applied the solution and let it dry without rinsing it. Applied it dry, and it caused like a chalkiness on the vinyl. And he didn't have pictures, so it was hard to diagnose it. I didn't, like I said, I didn't know if it was the weep holes, which is the dirty water behind the vinyl seeping through the weep holes, or if it was oxidation. But it's always good to remember, before you wash the house, take your fingers and wipe the vinyl. I usually do it on all four sides of the house. Typically the south side is where you're going to see most oxidation, if it's going to be oxidized at all. But it's like a chalkiness almost, and it's basically old oxidized paint coming off. So it's always just good to alert your customer, say, hey, I just want to let you be aware of this before we start washing. Your paint is starting to fail here, and this house wash is not going to take care of that. We're going to get all the dirt and grime and algae off, but I just wanted you to be aware. They're always very thumbs up about it. Where you start running into issues is if you don't tell them and then they notice it after you leave. They notice, why is it all chalky? And they convince themselves that you caused it. That could be an issue. So if you come across an issue where you need to remove the oxidation, start simple and work your way up. Sometimes just water and a little brush can do the trick, or water, Dawn, mix some Dawn in some water, brush it with a soft brush, try to do long, even brush patterns rather than aggressive, like that. Kind of go, blend everything in and get that, just try to get the least amount off and make it look good. Also, if you use too high pressure, some guys, they want to use a green tip or whatever, and a red tip, almost etch the vinyl, and you see these swirl marks, these lines. A lot of times they just blasted the oxidation clean off. So now they kind of have to, you could damage it, you could severely etch it or something, but chances are it's usually just that oxidation is blasted off, and you need to go through with a brush and some Dawn soap and kind of scrub that off, and it usually come off. If that's not working, we have Red Raider, which is a mild degreaser. Safe to mix with bleach, so we use Red Raider. But in a pinch, and a very good solution is just some Dawn, a mild degreaser. What else I want to touch on? A guy was saying he was having really down on his luck, practically lost everything, it sounded like, and came across the soft wash industry and is trying to get jobs, and he's really struggling. He's been going door to door and irritated people and stuff like that. I would recommend YouTubing a guy, Jared Skinner. I know he's done podcasts, so I don't know if he's on YouTube. I haven't even checked before I made this video. He's done podcasts with a few different people, but I know Josh Latimer is one of them, because I think the first time I heard him talk was on, don't quote me on that, I could be wrong. Regardless, his name's Jared Skinner. He spoke at Responsicon. He has a really solid, really simple, very effective door knocking script. Really cool stuff. Talks about it for free. So I would really suggest soaking up that content if you are interested in doing door knocking. A funny story, a buddy of mine, his name's Lev, met him at Responsicon. Well, I didn't meet him at Responsicon, but I met up with him at Responsicon, and he told me about implementing this script, and they close somewhere between 15 and 20 grand in jobs with an average ticket of like 1,000, because people are signing up for roof, house, gutters, windows, whatever. And they knocked on a total of 70 doors, and 40 of them answered. So to get that kind of close ratio, that's very, very, very impressive. Not all results are typical, but don't doubt yourself. This is a very simple script, and I hope he doesn't mind me sharing this. I don't see why he would, but they're from Russia, so they got a heavy Russian accent. They speak totally normal English, but they do have a Russian accent. And what I'm trying to get at is don't be shy to do like door knocking. Like just go up there and be yourself. I mean, he probably had a fear of like mispronouncing English words, right? And not being understood, even though he speaks very fluent English, in my opinion. But that didn't stop him. He went out there, crushed it. I mean, I'm a big fan of his. I mean, it's just him and his business partner, and they're really just executing. Anyway, enough kissing his ass. Love you guys. You know what I'm talking about. What else did I want to talk about? Responsibid. I had a guy ask me about how Responsibid works and yada yada yada. I have Responsibid. I'm struggling getting it set up. Not struggling. I'm just struggling finding the time to really sink my teeth in it and get it really fine tuned and set up. It's a very, very powerful tool. There's a common misconception of you need a website to use it. That's not true. Actually, a lot of the veterans who are very into Responsibid and use it every day in their business, they've actually removed it from their website only because they started coming across issues where clients are going onto their website, they're clicking the Get a Quote Now button, they're answering the questions such as how many windows do you have, what are the measurements of your deck, stuff like that, and the customers are either A, fabbing how many windows, trying to get a discount or cheaper quote, or they genuinely are confused and they're not doing it correctly. So they've removed that widget off their website, and they only use Responsibid within their team, and send guys out to do the quotes, which is really cool because it kind of is a quoting tool, but it's also like a training tool all in one, because now you don't really have to train guys in depth on how to do estimates. You really just could send your buddy to do an estimate. Hypothetically, you could send a buddy to do an estimate and say, hey, just enter the information in for all these little questions. I mean, it's pretty simple. So it's simple once you get it set up and fine-tuned and dialed into where everything's working. But there is, in my opinion, quite a bit of a setup time to get it all going. Very cool, very reliable app. Has tons of other features. What else did we talk about? Again, kind of along the lines of the door-to-door, struggling with getting the jobs. My good friend Bobby Walker, he's mentioned numerous times. He really only focused on door hangers and flyers until their company hit $20,000 a month in revenue on kind of a steady basis. Then once they had that consistent revenue coming in from their marketing, they decided to experiment with other things such as Google or Facebook or what have you. That doesn't mean door hangers is the answer for you, right? But the point is he dove really, really deep into one marketing strategy and until it really paid off and it was consistent, and then started exploring other stuff. Maybe for you it's Facebook advertising or Google advertising. I don't know, but I know the flyers make sense for me because if I'm not super busy, if I'm not doing $20,000 a month, then I definitely have time during those work hours to be doing door hangers. You see what I'm saying? So you can use that downtime to hand out your door hangers. They're a lot more personable. Do your yard signs or whatever route you're going. So that's about it. I think I'm probably missing some. I had a few different conversations, but all in all, I enjoyed it. It was cool talking to you guys if you're listening. And feel free to reach out. You can text the business line. It's not hard to find. Text it, and I have it logged, then I know, all right, if I get a chance, I'll give so-and-so a call. And just keep in mind, if a client calls or if I got to go, I got to go. But here to help. to a degree, right? Can't be babysitting or walking you through the whole thing, right? So, all right, y'all. Check out teamwashlife.com for any marketing materials. You know the deal. Join our Facebook group, Team Wash Life. And thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel. Peace.